All right. So, what happened last session?
So last session, we tried to take our adventure out to the center of the island, where the bunker is supposedly located. On our adventure heading out that way, we did have to make a stop for camp. We made
Th-
camp,
Wait a second. This better not be copyrighted music.
No.
and Laurence decided to take Chiho. Wait a minute, this sounded familiar. Laurence decided to take Chiho out to over the cliff edge to getting a drawing, painting of her. I think it was a drawing.
Yep.
Out towards the sunset. uh, Laurence returned, coming back, saying that Chiho had fallen off, and Chiho, well, had definitely fallen off. Whenever
Definitely, 100% can confirm.
Chiho and Sora had went down to go see her condition, they found her body lifeless. Akiho tried to make an attempt to heal her, however, it wasn't, I guess, fully successful, or it was successful, but it didn't seem to uh, awaken her. So, after, let's see, Lucilia was able to detect that she is not conscious, as she probably believed she was dead. That was mentioned to uh, Karu. Karu had Laurence send a bird out to uh, Kretch with a letter stating that they needed the orb. Um, they are they were on the way back from the bunker, from where from direction in the forest. I don't know. I actually don't know what Lawrence wrote.
Approximately this
Yeah,
I did
area.
not actually
Where
look and see
we
what he
went.
wrote, so he may have wrote something completely different. I don't know.
Anything to add, anyone else?
Yes, bring the orb. Bring it here.
We need the orb.
Bringeth it here.
We do. I need
We
to
need
save my pretty Chiho.
Yeah, we needed to amplify Akiho's power.
Yep.
And it better not fail.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should get into it. I believe it is Sora, Megumi, and Akiho are still at the bottom of the cliff
We have
with
pulled out
the
a rope.
with a rope, and I believe you were in the process of hauling her up. Uh, Megumi, Megumi is down there with you. Laurence is kind of just sitting against a tree, just looking down, like looking at his hands, shaking. Max is kind of just staring off in the distance like he doesn't know what to do. Vera and Lucilia are just are kind of just watching over the edge, and Isabella is just kind of standing near you, Karu.
Yeah, I'm kind of just standing in. If they,
By the way, it is around dusk, so the sun is going down.
I feel like. So how are we getting Chiho up there? Because we definitely do need to get her up there, but we don't want to hurt her any further than she has been.
We would have to make some kind of stretcher, I say. To keep her flat and not move her neck. Because it's like what I remember hearing about, like in like middle school, and just people talking about like CPR and stuff. So that's what we need to do. So, like I say, trying to keep my mind focused on the task and not looking at like Chiho, a broken mess on the floor.
Sora, not looking at anyone in particular, just kind of says, "Well, I don't know how to do that. Do any of you?"
We just need something long and flat, damn it. Talking to him like he's an idiot. Like angrily.
Yeah. I don't laugh in character. That's
It's too dark right now.
yeah. Well, I know how to try to heal someone. I don't have any technical skills. I couldn't engineer anything. As I look around, just kind of with a lost look, or like a shut down look in my face, just
There's
staring at
nothing.
everyone.
There's nothing. You have nothing you can do. I say kind of just a little bit condescending, because like healing is your thing. It's like, so there's nothing else. You try what you could with what you can do.
I can't bring back the dead.
I'm gonna punch my fist at that and grit my teeth and just stop looking at you when you say the D word.
After staring at each person in turn, just hoping for someone to step up, I just quiet down and stare at Chiho.
Is there anything like, I guess like any, it's not gonna be like boards or anything, but it's gonna be like flat, something like long and flat, like maybe like, I don't know, fallen long branches or anything like that.
Sora says, "Well, I could try to lift her. I mean, I've never tried to lift another person, but I can lift up myself, and so I could definitely make it easier to move her up with the rope, at least make her not feel as heavy, but
Damn it, then do it. I'll say kind of like not wanting to take charge, but also like angrily. She doesn't want to look at Chiho, but she also doesn't like the sort of inaction of everyone around her.
let's
So,
see.
Megumi's getting like really frustrated, and her tone is starting to be more curt.
Did that pop up on all of your screens?
Yes.
There we go. Okay.
What?
Chiho.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I already had everyone's pulled open, so I didn't notice anything different.
Well, Sora says, just kind of bites his lip and takes a deep breath, and he just says, "Okay, well, I'll give this a shot. I'll be as gentle as I can, I guess." And you start hearing the whooshing sound of wind pick up and start swirling, and you see the leaves and the grass start rustling around where Chiho is laying, and with great concentration you see Sora moving his hands, and Chiho start to slowly rise. You see, just as she gets off the ground, you see just a little bit of the blood that was on her head start dripping onto the ground. And she starts rising up into the air. And you see her body almost ragdolling as he just starts to slowly float her up to the edge of the cliff. Karu, you see Chiho's body start to move and just kind of lazily, almost, it looks very, very strange and grotesque, like her, like if it's a doll or maybe some kind of weird flying ghost zombie starts floating slowly up towards you.
I'll be ready to grab her.
Alright, well, that's easy enough. Sora looks like he's having trouble concentrating as the further up it goes, and she goes from raising kind of at a steady pace to getting slower and slower. And you see Karu, when once she's at a level you can start to reach out and grab her, you see she looks almost unstable, like she's at the level she's at, but then she'll drop like a few inches and then just slowly rise back up.
Yeah.
Megumi and Chiho, you can see Sora is kind of sweating a little.
Keep it up. I'm just gonna yell at him commandingly.
Whenever she twitches, Akiho will just kind of twitch as well, just watching in earnest, like with hands held together, you know?
Right. Alright, Karu, so you reach out and grab her, and easily enough, you pull her over the edge, and like a doll, she's completely limp as you pull her, and it's just dead weight. Little bit of blood over you now.
I'll ask if anyone has a cot I can lay her on right quick.
Has a what?
A cot. Like a sleeping pad or whatever. Like I don't know, sleeping bag.
Let's see. Max walks over and he says, you can use mine.
If you would be so grateful.
He scratches the back of his neck and looks away, and he says, I can just sleep as a cat anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Alright then. So,
Isabella is just standing over you, just looking at Chiho.
Oh, useless. Oh, I say mumbles.
yeah, so I'll her to a spot where we can lay her down, so we can get the rest of the group up.
I'll
Alright.
begin to float up without, like, after I mumble useless men, I'll, like, kind of, like, towards Sora's direction. Actually, just toward general direction of men, I mumble that. I'm going to, like, the boys, I'm going to, like, slowly turn into a, the mist. And just float up myself.
Alright. Akiho, you see Sora just kind of like look down and say, "What does she want me to do?" And then he just walks over to the rope and grabs onto it and starts moving up it. You hear some wind as he walks past you, probably using wind to make it not so hard to get up.
Assisting with his ascent.
Yes.
I don't respond to him or really acknowledge he said anything.
All right.
Am I the only one down here now, actually?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you should be by yourself. You're a man. Figure it out.
Oh god, you rolled that, didn't you? Yeah. I forgot we were doing that. Okay, let's see. After he's up, I'll try to climb the rope.
All right. Don't you have a strength or body of like 2?
Oh, it is awful. It's probably not happening.
Yeah, we'll not be able to see him climbing up the rope.
Since you are in the body of a teenager but have the strength of a adolescent, go ahead and roll me a body. Oh, you make it up the rope pretty easy. You don't even realize that you're climbing the rope as you're going up, since your mind is elsewhere, but you just start moving your hands and your feet on your own, and before you know it, you're on top of the ridge.
Nice. I actually rolled really well.
Well done. That run paid off.
The running has paid off, yes.
Alright, yeah, when I just get up to the top, I just go and kneel next to Chiho, kind of ignoring everyone else.
I will pull up the rope so we can reuse it for later. And then I'm gonna go to Akio. I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder to try to get his attention. Akio?
And then just a slight flinch, and then turning to look at you. Yes.
We've sent a bird messenger off to Cratch. We might be able to fix this issue, but it's gonna require your help. As in, you're the only one.
Absolutely. If the orb can do for me what it's done for everyone else, it's probably our only hope.
That's my thoughts, exactly.
My only hope.
I'm gonna take a look around at whoever's around to see kind of how they're feeling as far as exhaustion goes.
Max looks distant. Laurence, not looking good. He just seems completely zoned out, and he's just sitting against a tree away from everyone else. Lucilia and Vera are just looking around, taking everything in. They don't seem particularly extremely phased about what's going on, but definitely disturbed by the scene. They're not really looking in at Chiho, but they are looking in your direction. As for Isabella, she's walked over and is standing beside you and Akiho, just looking down at Chiho. I don't know what Megumi is doing.
I will require a, was it soul, so I can tell you all of my feelings. Or I can just give you what you see. Because I guess, well, I'm just, what you see just straight out is like anger. It's just kind of like undirected, it's like maliciousness everywhere, but angry. Anything deeper, I guess you can give a shot. Because I have complicated girl emotions. And I'll explain them. But I'm angry at all of you, even though it was kind of my idea that we keep going anyway to the bunker.
Anyone who wants to roll a soul can.
I can't find the proper gift, but I was just overflowing anger.
No, I probably wouldn't even be really paying that much attention.
Yeah, you're focused on Chiho pretty much.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess I'll make a check, but where's my sheet? It's right here. Soul, you said?
Well, whatever you use to read emotion.
I think that's soul.
Well, yeah, unless you have something else,
Oh.
empathy skills or something.
Don't. Does that fall under my defect? Fuzzy.
Say that again. Oh, your defect. I always forget what all of your defects are. Oh, that's not right. Character sheet. No.
Okay. Alright then.
You just have trouble
Yes.
with like double talk kind of stuff, like saying one thing and meaning the other. You can read
yeah.
people's emotions.
Okay.
I am just lashing out angry at everybody. That's all you pick up. I'm lashed out, angry at everybody, the situation.
Are you radiating murderous intent?
Sorta, yes. It's in my eyes and my curt tone.
Okay. You definitely feel that pretense of battle, Karu.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
The feeling of an opponent just as they draw their blade. Something like that.
I kind of look around a little. Just kind of. I might, like, look at Megumi slightly funny for a moment. It's like, she's gonna kill someone. What? Right now? Like.
She's very, very angry.
Just.
Very
Yeah,
angry.
She's angry. A lot of people are upset. It kind of fits in with, what's going on. So.
Megumi, you actually feel the despair from everyone radiating towards you as if it was like sunlight, just warm on your skin. It's weird. You feel a little bit more in tune with it, with this feeling than you had before.
Like in tune, as in like it's. Does it make me feel strengthened or something, or?
No, it just
Okay.
you
It's just
you feel
gross.
it as if you just
Yeah.
feel it as if you can actually feel it,
It's like a miasma hanging in the air.
right? Like a fart in an elevator per se.
All right.
I'm gonna mumble then. I bet you're loving this, aren't you? To no one in particular, but it's to the shadow.
You just hear. Is anyone planning on doing anything?
Haru is gonna stand up.
Okay.
Haru is gonna. He's gonna say that. Can I get everyone's attention real quick? I possibly might already have everyone's attention, but
Sure.
everyone but Laurence looks up at you.
My
Laurence,
back will be
that
turned.
includes you too.
Yeah.
He's
I'm gonna do the. Oh, go ahead.
give me a soul real quick, Karu.
More souls.
He's in his own little world. You don't even know if he can hear you.
Hey.
He's so zoned out.
You have to shake him. I'm gonna do the my back turned, but I turn my head enough to see from the side. That over dramatic shit.
I'm gonna. 1 second, and I'll walk over to Laurence. And I'll
He's just sitting there, staring at his knees and at his
my hand on
hands.
the shoulder. Laurence. Hey. Shake him slightly.
You shake him? Okay. As soon as you start shaking him, he turns towards you and reaches out, and you hear him scream, "Chiho!" And
Laurence, it's me, Karu.
and he looks up at you and shakes his head, and he just says, "Oh." That's all he says.
Laurence, I need everyone's attention. Could you please come over here?
Sure.
Okay. Alright. Do I have everyone's attention?
Yes.
Make sure I have everyone's attention.
Eye contact, but not really saying anything.
Right.
I say speak as if giving you permission.
Everyone's looking at you. I mean, Laurence is kind of just looking at the ground and kind of just looking around all over, but he seems more
at least
attentive.
half paying attention now.
Yeah.
Everyone, obviously you're aware that we've had this occurrence that has happened, but there is a way to fix it. However, we are on a short time to do so.
There's some murmuring, and you just see Lucilia just raise her eyebrow. That's her only reaction.
We need to have Akiho use the power of the orb to restore Chiho.
Max, speaks up and he says, "Will that even work? Can you do that, Akio?"
He can, as far as we can tell, he can heal people. And if the orb is supposed to empower those, then there is a good chance that it's possible he could restore her. However, the less time we have, the less of a chance we have to save her.
So what do you suggest we do then? Just strap her on our back and run as fast as we can?
Without preventing any more injury to her body, we need to at least make our way back to the teachers. We've already sent a. I'll look at Laurence. Laurence here has already sent a bird out to Cratch and informed him with a note on the bird to inform him about the kind of the situation going on.
Lucilia speaks up and she says, and all of this is just an assumption. We don't actually know if Akiho is even capable of this, correct?
Well, we don't have any other choice. We don't have another option. Unless someone else has some way to restore her.
Everyone kind of looks at each other, and then Sora speaks up and he says, well, it's the best option we got.
At this point, it's the only option we got.
I'd rather take a chance, even if it means, there is a possibility it may not work, but we gotta take that chance. And if it does, then we've succeeded. So we have to, if we need to take it if we have it. I know we just got done going an entire half day through the jungle, and we're probably all tired. But this is life or death. Literally.
Everyone kind of nods. And Sora speaks up and he says, but before we go anywhere, can Laurence tell us exactly what happened? He just kind of looks at Laurence, who doesn't say anything.
We can get his story after we fix Chiho. If he wants to tell us afterwards, then I think that would be best.
We'll just ask Chiho herself. Laurence already said she fell.
Before you guys leave, is there anything that you want to do in this area, or do you guys just want to head out? Once you leave, it will be very difficult for all of you to find this place again.
The same exact place.
Yes.
I want to look also at the area where she fell. Yes. Like when it starts to walk off, I want to kind of just hang back and do that.
If you want to do that, if you want to take care of stuff, do it quickly. But I don't want to lose. I want to lose the least amount of time as possible.
That's all I want to do. Right here, anyway, in this spot.
All right. Well, anyone who wants to do anything in the area, let me know what you're planning on doing, and let's do that.
I just say that whatever we need to do to save Chiho.
Okay. Megumi, you said you are wanting to look at the area where things happened. Go ahead and give me a mind or relevant roll. I guess
Police sciences, forensics would work to see
yes.
if there was any signs of being pushed.
Yes.
A small struggle, anything like that.
You can go ahead and give me that.
Come on, roll high. Yes.
Oh, dang. Okay. Let's go to game 2.
Yes. Sorry. Let me do that. All
okay.
Right.
So you inspect the area where you believe Laurence was. his easel thing is still kind of sitting there. It hasn't moved. You see the picture is, the portrait is basically done. It seems finished. And so it seems like he finished his portrait before she fell. You go over to where Akiho was sitting, and you find something interesting. You see where her footprints are, and then you see some footprints of, you can tell it looks like stumbling backwards, but she was a good, I'd say, foot away from the edge before she started moving backwards. And then right around at the edge of where she fell, you see 3 black feathers.
I'm going to grab these black feathers and a little bit of dirt with it from this area and put it in my pocket.
All right. Are you doing that hoping no one will notice, or?
Yeah, do you want me to,
Oops, hit a button. Okay.
Alright.
Give me, I guess body encompasses things like dexterity, so unless you have something relevant. Stealth?
Well, I silently moved here to do it too.
You can give me a stealth.
And come on, results. There it goes.
All right, yeah. Seems like you get it in your pocket without anyone noticing.
All right.
So you go ahead and mark down in your notes or whatever, so you don't
I've got
forget
notes.
3 feathers, and you picked up dirt.
Hang on. 3 black feathers. And from the scene where she fell. Chiho fell.
Oh, and the footprints going backwards, it isn't like she turned and walked off. It's like she stumbled back. The footprints are not they're not smooth. It's like she took a step, and then she took half a step, and then she stood there for a second, and walking backwards or stumbling backwards.
Interrupted ones, stumbling backwards.
Oh, and you also see like a slide mark interrupting some of the footprints, where it looks like something slid across the ground.
Very well.
You got a good roll.
It counted, luckily.
It counted. All right.
Ooh, all right.
Game 1.
I mean, I guess there could be,
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Is Karu anything you want to do?
Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Let's see. No, I honestly, I feel like my character would be pretty focused on trying to.
All right. Well, everyone turns to leave, and Megumi hangs back for a second, walks over to the ledge, and you see her bend down for a moment, or walk over to where Laurence was, where his easel is still kind of sitting, and then she walks over to the ledge and bends down and turns around and starts walking back to the group. Max walks over to you, Megumi, and he asks, "Find anything?"
I'll tell you later. Still with an angry at all men tone.
He kind of shrinks back and he's like, "Oh, all right." All right. Who is carrying Chiho?
I will be.
You will be? Okay.
I was gonna say if I tried, I would put in a valiant effort, but
Okay. Let's see. Who? No one else offers it up. Offers to help. In which case, Vera will volunteer.
Okay.
So Karu, give me a body roll. As you are carrying dead weight through a dense forest.
No,
Be a man.
Karu,
it's a 4.
Karu, you're struggling. There are a few times that you almost trip up, and a few times that you just tell Vera, I just need to take a second.
We don't have a second.
I know,
That's what I say.
but I'm not used to this sort of thing, I suppose.
It's the humidity. It's got to be the humidity, right?
Gosh, it's so hot.
You get the obvious one of these out of me.
It is starting. Oh, wait, let me find the correct sound effects button. Okay. It is indeed starting to get darker. As the heat of the day is turning into the cool of the night, as all of you are walking. You're not exactly sure what time it is, but the trees do make things a lot darker.
But we do have flashlights. So,
Do you?
yeah, I'm pretty sure we brought some.
Okay, then that's fine. You guys can see about 15, 20 feet in front of you.
That's amazing. I'll make sure to ask Laurence, can you make sure to have your bird friends kind of keep an eye around our group to make sure there's nothing coming our way?
He takes a second to respond, and he doesn't say anything. He just nods his head.
Thank you.
Perfect timing for that bird. And
Do I need to make another body check?
are you still going?
I feel like I should still try to carry Chiho. I mean, if it's both me and Vera carrying Chiho, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then, I mean, after a moment, I would try to start going again. Yeah.
All right. No, you don't have to give me another body roll.
Okay.
But you are getting quite tired.
That's okay.
Worn out.
It's only a
you-
flesh wound.
You think that you probably wouldn't be able to use your lightning fast reflexes
Oh, heck no.
if you keep pushing yourself, at least until you get some rest,
Okay.
because you're just worn out.
Right.
As all of you are trudging through this forest, Sora seems antsy, and he seems to constantly be glancing back at where Laurence is.
Okay.
You go for an. You try to walk for another, I don't know, hour and a half. Go ahead and give me another body roll, because now is the point where it would be like, okay, I just can't go on anymore, or okay, I'm gonna push through.
One of my hearts depends on this.
One of your hearts?
The hearts I have for him.
Oh.
The big hero.
Karu, you are exhausted, but maybe you can push through. Vera looks like she's sweating quite a bit, though. But she seemed good earlier, so it's kind of hard to tell. Both give me a soul roll.
Okay.
Vera looks tired, but she has a look of determination in her eyes. You're kind of wavering, though. You think you might be able to go a little further, but you're not sure how much further.
Okay.
Is everyone else just following behind them in silence?
I am in silence.
Yeah.
I'm not in the part where I need to do what I need to do yet. Not
At
here.
some point, maybe just hear Akio whisper, like, I wish I could help, or something, just staring at the three of you.
Isabella, you hear her mumble something. You hear her mumble something, and then just looks at the ground and keeps walking. As she balls her tiny little fists, just keeps walking.
Can we hear her mumble? Like, what she mumbled?
Go ahead and give me
I want to hear
a body for your, ears, body or mind, I guess.
Oh, wait. Can I choose mind?
Yes. To represent how acutely that you're paying attention, or body just if you want to have strong.
Mine are all the
ears.
same, but I'm just gonna power through with body.
I would not be paying that much attention, so
Nope.
I guess it wouldn't
I hear
be
too
mind
much
then.
crunching. Crunch,
It would
crunch,
be
crunch, crunch.
my body roll.
All right. Well, neither of you hear what she says. Karu, you can give it a shot.
Alright, I'll make an attempt.
Just to figure out if you passively
Yeah.
understand or hear what she said.
Don't you have like 14 body anyway? So.
I don't.
Why don't you have 14 body?
Body. Sevens.
Sevens. No, none of you hear what she says. Akiho, you kind of get that she's whispering something to Chiho or about Chiho. But as all of you are walking, Sora just says, breaking the silence awkwardly, so while we're still walking, now would be a perfect time for Laurence to tell us exactly what happened. He looks at all of you and he says, don't you guys agree?
Agree what, Laurence? Hand in my pocket.
That was Sora talking.
Oh, sorry.
He said now would be a perfect time for Laurence to tell us exactly what happened. And then he asked everyone, "Don't you agree?"
Yes. I would like to know a little more details myself. I say, with a hand in my pocket.
Max is kind of turns and he says, "Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know what happened too."
As long as no one gets lost trying to follow our way through, then I don't see an issue with it.
Sora turns and he says, "Well, Laurence, what happened?" And Laurence just kind of looks up and he's like, "Huh? Sorry, what?" Sora says, "What happened?" Kind of a little bit more forcefully now. And Laurence just says, What happened?" And Sora just kind of like puts his palm on his head and shakes it and just goes, "What happened with Chiho, Laurence?" And Laurence just looks up and he says, "What do you mean? That I looked up and she uh uh sorry." Laurence just looks up and says, I don't know. I was focusing on my painting and it's like I blinked and all of a sudden I just saw her tumbling over and I tried to run and grab her, but he shakes his head and says, "I wasn't fast enough."
Fast enough. I say, I'm going to pull out 3 feathers that I have in my pocket. Black feathers. I'm gonna do this only if there is still light up in the sky that casts a shadow.
That casts a shadow?
That allows enough light to cast a shadow onto
I will say the flashlights in the area are casting shadows.
Good enough. So I'm gonna say, fast enough for what? I'm gonna pull out the 3. As long as I have his attention, I want to pull out the 3 feathers I have, and to do it close enough to where I can see him and touch his shadow. If he has any reaction to seeing these feathers.
You give me a soul.
Alright. Where? I almost clicked on the shadow. Wrong thing. Soul. Boom.
Alright, let's go to game 2.
Right.
As you pull out the feathers and you touch his shadow, he just looks up at you with a confused look. You don't see any... He seems confused. That's all you get.
Okay.
Kara goes berserk and murders someone? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Karu roll initiative? I don't know what's going on. Laurence looks at you, Megumin, and he says, "Fast enough to save her."
I'm going to use the mind telepathy.
Okay.
Touching his shadow.
Go ahead. Go ahead and give me the roll.
Fuck.
Oh, okay. Wait, it's an opposed roll though.
Yeah.
It is an opposed roll.
And he fails well.
I don't
Does
know,
he
he's
fail?
He's a
Oh, that's a
mindful
pretty
boy.
low roll. That's a 1 and a 2.
He's a pretty mindful boy.
He's a pretty mindful boy.
okay.
No. What?
Ah,
What is the wording on that?
just shadow.
Yeah, you just don't get anything
I
from him,
get
right?
nothing. I get nothing.
All right. Well, you
Well, that was
can't
worth
you
a shot,
can't
but I
try
chose
that
no.
again.
No.
For I think it's only a deep dive that you can't keep trying over and over,
Yeah.
but you can try again later, just
Yeah.
not immediately. But yeah,
But,
you reach out and touch his shadow, and it's foggy. Maybe the flashlight beam ends too soon, and you're not actually touching him. You don't know. You just kind of nothing there.
So, that's fine, but I'll say, that's funny. Fast enough for what? Because she was nowhere near the edge when that happened. I want to explain when I said that. I was like, I was at the scene, and for a moment I saw the footsteps, the way it happened. You had finished the drawing. Completely finished it. And she was about a few feet away from the scene, from where she fell.
She was about a foot to maybe 2 feet.
Okay, she was about a foot and a half away from the scene of where she fell. There's also her footsteps were leaning backwards, and it looks like these feathers were found near the footprints. And not only was she stumbling, but it looks like something slid and interrupting the footprints. She didn't just fall. She fell stumbling backwards, trying to fight something. What weren't you there fast enough for, Laurence? I say, like, in a demanding, angry tone, like, actually angry at him for the first time ever.
Sora and everyone else kind of just turns and stares at Laurence. Lawrence's eyes, you see, are going really, really wide, and he says, "What are you talking about?"
She didn't just... You weren't fast enough. Were you trying to stop something, or were you doing something that caused her to fall? And I say this accusingly.
He just looks down and he just says, I was trying to stop her from falling. I jumped and I slid, yeah, and I'm trying to catch her. Go ahead and give me a forensics roll.
All right.
Or the police thing.
Yeah, police sciences.
Yeah, there's dirt all
Alright.
over the front of his shirt.
So it was, there's dirt all over her shirt. So it's like he dove and tried to catch her?
Perhaps.
Then what was there, Laurence? What weren't you fast enough for?
He just looks down and he says, I heard he told you I wasn't fast enough to save her.
I'm gonna walk, like, a step forward, like, even closer, and then do the whole grip the collar thing, and, like, grasp it, and kind of, like, pull him up a little. You know, just dramatic.
Give me a body roll.
Yes. Come on, Megumin. You got a body 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do it with one hand. Off the ground.
Perfect.
Yes, powered by my anger.
Oh, by the way, while she's doing this, you start feeling this weird tingly sensation down your spine where you just feel uncomfortable, just not happy, just like gloom is falling over you. Like sure, gloom is already falling over everyone, but it's kind of like it feels like an acute sense at the front of your mind now. Anyway, continue on.
Okay, so that's how I shout angrily. Then stop being a little bitch and tell us. Tell us what happened. As I'm choking. Not choking, but I'm just doing the dramatic, like, collar grab.
he grabs your hand and looks up at you, and he says, what do you want me to tell you? I told you everything. I looked up and she was falling and I tried to help her and I couldn't.
Then explain the feathers. What were you trying? What happened? Why were these by her feet?
He just says.
The feathers in my other hand.
He just says, I don't know. I don't remember any feathers or anything. I just remember her falling. What do you want? What do you want me to tell you? That I wasn't fast enough? That I couldn't save her? That I let another friend of mine just die?
I'm gonna, like, kind of let go of his collar by, like, pushing him back.
He just sinks down and he says, I let her down and I wasn't fast enough.
I don't trust him because, but I'm like so emotionally a wreck because I'm trying to, I think he's to blame. Well, he is to blame. He didn't catch her. But at the same time, I'm thinking I'm seeing something.
Sora just says what you're thinking, Megumin. He just says it out loud. He just says, I think you're lying. And Laurence just looks down and he doesn't say anything. Sora just says, I think you did it. I think you know exactly what happened. He looks and at all of you, looking at Laurence now, and he says, all of you saw what happened the other day with the orb, how he was able to manipulate some of us, how he called all of those creatures, and even was calling us. We don't know what he's capable of. We don't even know anything about him.
I want to tag along with that and, like, kind of just hands in my pockets, walk to the side of him and, like, lean forward. And
Who,
just
Laurence?
like forward, kind of
Okay.
just like Laurence, just to his side, and I'm just gonna just not angrily shout, but I'm just gonna be like, Laurence, is it just because is it that you don't know, or is it that you don't want to know? Is there a part of you that's possibly trying to hide something from yourself, and you feel guilty? I'm going to also say, I want to say that, and I kind of want to see if I can get a psychological interrogation roll out of that.
Give me, what was it, intimidation?
Interrogation,
Go ahead
but
and
psychological.
go ahead, psychologically scar this boy.
Yes, do it. I've seen this on shows.
You see tears starting to fall. As he just says, he just starts crying and he says, you're all right. All of you are right. It's all my fault. I couldn't save her. And he just looks up and he says, with his eyes just like wide, like he's in a panic, he says, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm capable of. I told you I'm a monster. And look what happened. Maybe it was me. Maybe I don't remember. I don't know.
That's my lean. I'm doing that old Law and Order Criminal Intent lean. Hands in pockets, and I'll lean back up. And
Laurence starts standing up. Sora just says, "Well, everyone, there you have it. That's basically an admission of guilt." Max kinda just is scratching the back of his head, kinda not looking at everyone. Looks like he's feeling kind of awkward, but also he's kinda got that like, well, I can't refute that look.
It's obvious, I mean, that we're both just ganging up on him.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to intervene, but that's how it's going. I'm trying to, I didn't want to blame him, but he is to blame. He was the only one there. And she just doesn't fall like that. And it just doesn't add up. She had a whole foot and a half. We'll have to have the teachers deal with you. I say kind of just, like, coldly. After we fix what happened. Wait, after we have Akiho fixes what happened. Saying it like it's going to be a guarantee that he's not going to fail.
Right.
Better not fail.
Laurence just looks up at all of you, looks towards all of you, and he just starts shaking his head and he says, "No." And he starts slowly backing away, just shaking his head. And he just says, I'm a monster. I can't stay with you guys.
We'll have the teachers deal with you when we get back.
And he just says, you don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. Sora just crosses his arms and says, we could always tie you up. And he takes a step forward when he says that. And Laurence just shakes his head and he says, No, you don't get it. What's tying me up gonna do? And he says, it'd be better if I was just gone. And he takes a few more steps back. And he turns, you see the tears in his eyes, and he just says, I'm sorry, as he turns off his flashlight and just starts sprinting into the woods.
I'm going to just say, no you don't, and start just trying to run after him. To me, this is a fleeing suspect.
Alright.
Less out of concern and more like he's trying to just run away.
Do you have any way to see in the dark?
I'll grab a nearby flashlight and take it. But no, I do not.
Alright. Well...
Give me that. Give me a light. No, you don't.
Yeah,
I'll see.
It is... it is pitch black it was kind of like a Batman scene where when he turned off his flashlight and started moving, it's like he disappeared, and he was moving at a full sprint. You can try to follow him. It's gonna be very hard for you with only that flashlight, though.
Yeah, but I'll say I made an attempt.
All right. What would be a good roll for this? Give me a body roll.
Wasn't tracking or anything. I only have urban tracking.
Yeah, that's not gonna help in the woods. All right. Give me a body. Oh, 10. That's nice.
This would be woods. If it was Wood City, then yes.
Sadly.
Town.
What was I going to roll for this? Was it?
Megumin made things worse. Guys should have stopped me.
Chiho's too meek for that. You're the confrontation one.
I had to go full angry tsundere.
So you get to where you can see him, or you can see the outline of his shadow as he's running. You get close to him, and you hear him scream, "Stay away from me!" As just all of a sudden you hear a lot of flapping and bird wings. Make a DCV.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Got it.
Too far. I'm not gonna dodge that.
Birds just start like surrounding your face and just attacking you. You do get close to him enough to like reach out and grab his collar, or his little scarf thing that he wears, and you pull that off as the birds just start pecking at you, and it hurts quite a bit.
Yeah, because they're like going for the kill.
Well, they're not going for the kill.
He's going for the big
They're
hurt.
they're,
All
they're
right.
just like smashing into you and like flapping their wings, but the birds don't know the difference, so they do get in a couple good nicks like on your cheek. So I would
That's a
say
lot of damage. Shit.
yeah, I would say take 5 damage out of that 18,
Okay.
since
25.
he's not sending them
Like
in
in-
kill mode, right? He's just kind of sending them to distract you, and whenever the birds fly away, you don't see him anymore.
I'll like do the hands on the knees, like tired, out of breath thing.
Also, you don't really know where you are. You're in the middle of the darkness, and you just ran, and no one
And
else
then,
followed
like,
you,
turned around
so yeah. So you're kind of just in the middle of the woods right now.
Fuck. Laurence! I'm just gonna like kinda like after catching my breath and like looking at my bird wounds, I just gotta, scream Laurence at the top of my lungs.
Everyone, you hear that. So you have a general idea where Megumin went.
I have no idea where y'all are.
No idea where the rest of the group is.
I'm gonna sit where I am, kinda just like up against a tree. Sorta like that depressed hunch.
Give me a body roll
Snakes.
on a plane. Okay.
Oh, there it goes. Low body roll.
Yeah. You don't hear anything or see anyone. Well,
No.
you kind of hear and kind of see the rustling of the flashlights of the main group kind of far off, or at least a bunch of flashlights.
Wait for them.
You can.
Guys,
Yeah.
I just say that, like, in worry, I don't really want to get off our path, essentially, to make taking Chiho back any longer, but
Hey, Max.
Yeah.
You can see in the dark pretty well, right?
He kind of shrugs and he says, "Kinda, yeah."
Can knowing which way Megumi ran, can you go get her for us?
He kind of says, "Yeah, I could give it a shot. I mean, yeah, I can see in the dark, but I'm not any better at getting lost in the woods than you are." But he kind of shakes his head and he says, "No, I can do it.
Okay. Well, if
I will do it."
if the lights help at all, we can kind of shine one in your direction so you can come back for us.
That'd probably help. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
she couldn't have ran off that far. And Sora just sighs and goes, "Well, I guess we should start moving as soon as Megumi gets back."
Absolutely. We'll take a rest here for the moment, so you can get Megumi back.
He nods his head and he says, "All right, I'll be right back." And you see him turn into a cat and just jump into the woods. Jump into some shrubbery and disappear like a ninja cat. Megumi, you see the flashlights moving closer to you, and you hear a characteristically soprano voice of Safra yelling you, "Megumi? Megumi, is that you?"
Afra. What? I say, like, are they already? I'm over here. I say, like, relieved, but I show none of the relief. I say it angrily.
You
Like,
hear
like it took you enough, kind of angrily.
you hear Safra yelling, "They're over here!" And you hear Gustav say, "All right, lead the way." And you see them start moving towards you. You still have your flashlight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I took from Sora, I assume.
You just took it from Sora. All right.
Yeah. So he's Sun's one.
All right. Well, they make it over to you. Gustav is in kind of like a safari outfit.
what?
Nice.
Nice.
Judas is in khakis, and he's not wearing a shirt as usual. Wearing sandals.
The bugs should be eating him alive. What a fucking idiot.
You occasionally see him move his staff, just like really quickly, just like.
Of course, fucking cheesy fuck.
And you see Safra, her shimmering blue hair almost reflecting any light that is hitting her hair. And and they come up to you, and Saphira just leans down, because you were sitting down, right? Or were you
Yeah.
standing? Yeah. She just leans down and she says, Megumi, are you alright? What's going on?
Laurence, I ran after him. He may be responsible for what happened to Chiho.
They all look at each other and they say, what happened to Chiho?
Go see for yourself. I point in the general direction of the flashlights.
They all look in that direction, and Judas just nods and he says, I'll go check it out. And you see him just like run into the woods. No flashlight or anything. And Gustav leans down and he says, Did something happen to Chiho? Is that why you sent this message? He holds up a slip of paper. He says, you really should have been more clear.
You saying that to me or
To you.
Oh, yeah. She's really hurt. Really, really hurt, and Chiho's the only one who could do anything. Really, really hurt. I don't want to say the dead word.
He just a grim look comes over his face. Switching over to the other group, about 5 or 6 minutes after the cat jumps into the woods, you see a giant man without a shirt on just jump through the ferns like he's the Kool-Aid man with a little cat on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
cat hopped onto his shoulder.
Huh?
The cat hopped onto his shoulder.
Yes, there's a cat on his shoulder.
Perfect.
And Judas, you see Judas standing in front of you, and he says, what's going on? We got your message, but it didn't make any sense. And he says, what happened to Chiho?
I moved to the side and show him the body. She is possibly dead. We sent the message to acquire the orb. We felt like Akiho would be the only one able to, with the ability enough to restore her.
Where is it? I'll try.
He looks at you and he says, orb? You didn't say anything about an orb. You didn't say anything about the orb. And he says, wait, what do you mean you think she might be dead? And he just kind of pushes you out of the way, Akiho, and like puts his hand on her neck. And then just like sighs. She's like, and he just shakes his head back and forth. Megumi and Gustav and Saphira. Saphira kind of offers you her hand to you as to kind of lift you up, and she says, let's get back with the others and everyone meet up.
I'll take her hand, kind of with the sneer still on my face. Yeah, okay.
She gives you one of those smiles. Give me a soul roll.
I think I might need another bowl of cereal. And oh, there it goes. Rice Krispies, man. It's been years. I didn't realize how good they were again.
Oh man, yeah, Rice Krispies are it. She gives you one of those weird, like motherly smiles that just kind of melts your heart a little bit when you take her hand.
God damn it.
And
I thought you were about to say she deduces her.
and dang it.
Oh dang it! I clicked the thing.
Okay. But yeah, she gives you one of those like really heartwarming smiles, and nothing changes about your attitude, but you feel kind of bad for snapping at her.
Okay, yeah, I do. Damn it. She's just trying her best. Besides, it's the men that are fucking everything up.
They start walking with you in the direction Judas ran, and yeah, you guys pretty easily start making it back in the direction. You kind of knew the direction to go anyway, so.
Laurence, correct?
Huh?
Is Laurence still missing?
Yeah. Alright. Well, Megumi, Safra, and Gustav walk into the clearing with the rest of you. Judas is standing over or leaning over Chiho. And that is the scene right now. Does anyone want to say anything?
Where's the orb? Hand it to Akiho.
Gustav says, orb? What do you mean, where's the orb?
What did the message say?
He said, Gustav says, the message just said Chiho. And you see him reach in his pocket, and he just kind of like holds it up for everyone, and you see in big letters, just taking up the entire sheet of paper, it just says Chiho.
Like where like a bigger message could be written instead, like her name written in large letters?
Yes.
I tried to have Laurence send off a bird with a message saying we needed the orb.
You told him to send the message?
Laurence, yes.
I'm going to punch, or attempt to punch Karu for that.
Go for it. That's just a plain DCV and a plain ACV.
Yeah.
You are rather tired, Karu, so you can't...
I'm not. I'm just gonna take it.
I'm not even trying.
This.
You idiot!
You get knocked to the ground.
And you lose you minus 1 heart for your incompetence.
Gustav...
not head over, almost head over heels for you,
not,
but I'm
not Gustav, but Judas immediately stands up and like grabs you, holding you back, Megumi, and he's like, whoa.
I'm gonna like try and wriggle past him, but not. He's stronger. I'm gonna let him win.
He's a strong boy. You can resist if you want it. It would just be body versus body.
I'm doing quote unquote resistance. You better hold me back, kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, so she's she's struggling against Judas, and Gustav just says, looks over at Chiho and just says in an authoritative voice, "Can someone please tell me what's happened? Where's Laurence?"
Laurence ran off into the woods after being interrogated by those two, and I'll point at Megumi and Sora. They harassed him, and he became
Sora crosses his arms and he says, "We weren't harassing him. We were just asking for the truth."
What is more important right now, the truth or saving someone's life?
Well, it doesn't matter because the orb's not fucking here, is it?
We still can go get it. And
I'm going to like.
Is that right?
Gustav looks at you, Karu, and he says, "Orb for what?"
To heal her. Like he's an idiot.
I can try, right? If it's me.
Gustav just kind of frowns and sighs, and he says, "We've never known anyone that could bring someone back. Close, yes, but even with the orb, I don't know."
Well, the longer we take, the less of a chance we have.
He just nods and he says, "It's worth a shot, but isn't even a guarantee that Akiho will be able to control herself." But
Thank you.
he scratches his chin and he says, "But that does seem like it's the only option."
Kid, what are we doing just standing here? Let's get on with it already.
Sappho,
If Laurence decides to make it back, then he makes it back. And then he'll answer for this.
Saphra just says, well, we can't just leave Laurence out there by himself." And Sora says, "Leave him. I wouldn't feel comfortable being around a murderer anyway." And he just turns, and Max is just kind of like, I hate to agree with him, but
I jumped on the blames. Everyone jumped on the blame train.
Gustav just looks at Saphra and he shakes his head and he says, "We'll have to deal with that later, Saphra." And she just looks down like she's really, really sad, and just gives a sullen nod as Gustav and Judas go over to, or just Judas. Judas just grabs Chiho and puts her on his back, and Judas kind of slings her arms over him, and they nod. He nods at Gustav and just starts running through the woods.
Judas. What was that, Judas, that did that?
Yeah, Judas.
He probably has the best chance of finding him, honestly.
No,
He's already blind,
he took
so-
Chiho and started running
okay.
through the forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Nice. I was looking for something like that, but with like dark energy, just to show off like the aura I'm kind of putting out. Not literally, but you know, anime like.
Yeah.
Wait, where is this?
Discord.
Oh.
Gen Voice one.
Oh, okay. Wait, Jin voice 1?
Jen.
Game voice 1.
Oh, okay.
Game voice 1, sorry, not Jen.
Okay, yes.
That's just what I thought of when they talked about not being able to control myself.
Okay. Alright, well. Gustav turns towards all of you and he says, well, we're still a good 2 to 3 hours out. And he says, can all of you continue?
Can I? I wonder. Is that a body roll?
No.
The mind is
Try.
willing.
If the mind is willing, then I guess so. That's good enough for me.
Akio just says I have to try.
Well, now that we're not carrying extra weight, it will be easier to move.
Lucilia says, I have no complaints. And Sora says, as soon as we're out of these woods with him, he kind of just gestures towards the trees, the better. This is where all of his friends live. He kind of just indicates towards all of the sounds around. Well, everyone turns and starts walking through the woods if you have no objections.
Nope.
All right. So, is there anything you do in particular on this 3-hour trudge through the woods
Ouch.
in the middle
No.
of the dark?
Try not to stumble.
Try not to
No.
stumble. All right.
It's just like focused.
Everyone roll me a d10, I guess.
I'm angry as fuck that Karu, you said D10, that Karu, like, had Laurence write the message and it just says Chiho.
I didn't say
Still.
Chiho though. I said bring the orb for Chiho to help.
Yeah, I know, but I'm blaming you because you were in charge of that.
Technicalities, right?
You're talking to not me, Quinde, but me, Quinde, as very overly emotional 16-year-old tsundere.
Okay.
You said D10.
Yes, d10.
Oh, why don't I do /me? I meant /roll. There we go.
Okay,
Oh, you just had to one-up me.
over the 3 hours, Karu, you actually beat back most of the trees, but one kind of slaps you in the face, and you end up getting a little scratch on your cheek. So that's 1 point of damage.
I've been punched once already. How much damage have I taken?
The punch doesn't do damage.
Oh really? Okay, I'm surprised.
It just knocked you down.
Yeah.
I've taken 1 damage.
Behind it was just straight angry rage.
Akiho, you actually walk straight into a briar patch on accident, and you get all kinds of cut up. And Megumi, you actually trip over Akiho as she's running into the briar patch, and like trip over her and fall face first into it.
Then I one-upped you.
Yeah, and it hurts. There's even a little bit of blood.
Fucking just men. Just men. That's what it is.
If I get up first and I go to pick up Megumi, I'll just throw in a little dash of
Of the good stuff.
the good.
Akiho gives you some of the good in the bushes, and it makes you feel so much better.
That's good.
Oh, I didn't include the description. That's weird.
All right, all of you see as you get closer now the lights that light up the path to the main building and dorm, and you finally get out of the woods, and you see Judas by the fountain with Chiho laying on a bench, with the orbs on its pedestal beside her. And uh, Gustav just turns to you, Akiho, and he puts both of his hands on your shoulders, and he leans down and he says, "I know that you've got a lot going through your head right now, but I just want you to remember how dangerous and this is, and how much you need to be in control."
I nod resolutely. I understand. But I would try anything. Or I would do anything for Chiho.
Anything for Chiho.
Hashtag anything for Chiho. Okay, well, Gustav nods and he says, "Don't worry, I'll be there. I'll be beside you if anything happens or starts to go wrong." And he just says, "Remember, whatever happens, it wasn't your fault. You did the best you could."
I don't reply to that except for just nod that time. I don't reply verbally, I should say. And then I'll walk up to the pedestal and Chiho.
Before you start walking up, you feel a little tug on your sleeve. And you see Isabella, and she just looks up at you, and she says, "Please save her."
I hold her hand for a second and just say, well, I don't want to lie to a child, but at the same time, isn't that what people do, lie to children? Just be like, I'll do everything I can.
Give me a soul roll to see how good you are at soothing her. She just nods.
She calls you a liar and ignites you.
Liar! Poof.
Well,
No.
read that one.
Well, gotta roll up a new character. Alright, I will approach the pedestal with the orb and Chiho.
Alright. Everyone else, before this starts, are you going to do anything?
I merely witness. I'm here to witness.
You are here to witness.
Dramatic.
Okay.
I'm dramatically standing around. That's it.
Okay. What about you, Karu?
Say, Taco.
You are no longer in the forest, so there are no longer frogs.
What?
He's turning off the frog music. I think.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear it, I guess. Weird. My music went off? Oh, nothing.
It's really faint, but it's been there.
Okay, there we go. I actually have my Microsoft Edge sound like completely turned off.
Well, there's your problem. You're using
I was
Edge.
like,
Come
wrong?
on.
I can't hear it. Okay. It's like, Akiho, you've got this. Just believe in what you can do, and with all your power, you should be able to do this. And we're also here to assist you if need be.
I understand. Give me 1 second to look up something real fast. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up time. I just realized I need to see this. What's the name of this? Big Eyes. I'm pulling up the PDF real fast.
Yeah, because it actually has mechanics for raising, I think.
Yes, it has mechanics for your healing,
Mm-hmm.
which I have pulled up, by the way, so
Nice.
Ready.
I've read through it a couple of times. I know how it works.
I am pretty sure I know how it works. I've read through it many times. I just, don't... I think I lost the PDF at some point, so I figured might try one last time to find it.
I can copy and paste you the text.
If you could, please, yes.
Do it.
Alright.
Better not fucking fail.
Alright, here is the relevant text for this.
Alright. So, walking up to where they are, I just reach down to like pat Chiho, staring at her one more time, and then I look with one hand still on her head. I reached the orb, and then
Alright.
slowly but meaningfully, I drop my hand upon it.
Alright, let's move to game 2. Alright, give me a soul roll.
Oh man. Okay, let's see.
Ooh, just barely. You feel... You put your hand on the orb, and you feel as if there's a spark or connection. You feel almost as if your hand melds with the orb, and the orb is your hand, and you feel it start. You feel it start this kind of feedback loop where it feels like you're putting some of your power in, but it's sending back like an exponentially more power into you, but then it just drains your power and sends more of its power back into you. What are you trying to do?
Trying to...
Oh, first off, before you do anything, give me a mind roll. Alright, you feel this feedback loop going, and you feel the drain as it takes from you, and you feel it start taking more and more than you want it to, and you can't regulate how much it's taking from you, and it doesn't feel like you're the one in control of this thing, as it's just taking more of your power than it's giving back. You still have access to the power, but you know it's not yours, not right now. Go ahead and take 5 points of damage.
Alright. Shit, I think this is the first time I've done that. Where's my life? There it is, HP. 5 points? Okay.
Also, as you look around, you smell the sweet smell of flowers surrounding you, and you look to your feet, and you see like little flowers just popping up from the gaps in the little walkway surrounding your feet, with little vines starting to trail up your leg.
Okay. So what I'll be focusing on trying to do is actually no.
Also, when you take that 5 points of damage, you feel a sharp pain, like a sharp migraine, like something stabbing your brain.
Oh, cool. Makes sense. Let's see. So I think I will try to tap into, like, force the power of healing out, like, out from my body. If I can't focus it into Chiho, then just in my general area around me.
All right, give me a mind to do that. Give me another mind roll to try to control the power of the orb. You definitely feel the power of your healing radiate all around you. You feel like as if your mind is just suddenly in a vice, like someone just grabs your mind and just squeezes it, as you feel like a pulse of power irradiate through your body, and it almost feels as if you can feel the world around you getting vitalized by perhaps by taking your own vitality and spreading it out but 100-fold, as you hear the crack of the not pavement but cobblestone walkway, as a tree just sprouts out, a fully grown tree just out of the ground, and you see plants creeping up through the ground. You see vines on the building, the hotel building, start creeping up the pillars on the building, crawling up the walls. All of this in a matter of seconds. It's as if the forest is taking back the section being healed of the industrial work that has been done to it, installing the buildings, deforesting this area. Feels like it's all being healed from you, and you can kind of feel everything that you've healed around you too, as if it's connected to you in a sort of way. You can feel that tree rising. You kind of feel like you can feel the perspective of the leaves on the top of the tree. You can kind of feel the vines wiggling up the hotel building. You can feel the little roots under your feet surrounding you, trying to push up against the cobblestone to get out, to burst through all the little grasses, finding their way through the cracks. Go ahead and take another 5 points of damage.
Okay.
For a total of 10 so far.
Yeah.
You feel like tired. You feel like the orb is draining your soul away or something. You're not sure if I'm not sure if you believe in a soul or not, but even if you don't, that's the only image you can cast in your mind.
Yeah, Akiho wouldn't for sure. Out of curiosity, is the getting the perspective of the leaves, is that part of that secondary power?
Has nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with it. Okay, just double checking.
You feel like the only thing you feel is radiating the healing energy out of yourself.
Okay.
You also feel that you feel the pulsing vitality of the people around you. You can feel, you can't like feel their heartbeat per se, but you can just feel that they're radiating with life and energy.
Attuned to life energy, essentially.
Yes.
Um,
The orb is still pulling from you.
I will try to just force more life energy into Chiho. So to like try to funnel it.
Trying to direct it. Okay. Give me another mind roll.
Even at the cost of the life energy of those around me.
Well, you you finally feel the pulling, the tugging of the orb stop. You still feel that feedback loop, but instead of just it draining you, you feel all of the power rushing in like a circular motion in between the two. It feels like you're connected to the orb now and that you can direct the orb to do your will for it. You, more than ever, feel the life around you. Even further out now, you can feel small little creatures in the trees just out, just, you know, a couple yards into the woods. You can feel little skittering. You can feel, you can definitely feel the heartbeat and you can practically smell the pheromones of the people around you. It doesn't smell like sweat or body odor or anything, just more like their essence around you. Each little unique aura. You focus in on Chiho, and the only thing you don't feel an aura of life or anything else. It feels a lot like the cobblestones beneath your feet, an object that's there but not life, not vitality. You try to focus in on Chiho and direct your power in there, but all you see is vines slowly starting to creep up around her. You can control this in any way that you want, and go ahead and give me a detailed description of what you are trying to do as you feel the essence of life around you and can, in a way, manipulate it, but you're not sure if you can take the essence away or if you can only imbue things with it.
All right. Yeah, Akiho would try.
All right.
So would that just be like another mind check to test, or?
Give me a mind roll. You, that mind roll wasn't related to controlling the orb, which is under your control right now, or at least you feel like it is. What that mind roll did give you, though, is that it is most definitely not giving life to things that are already dead. It's also not draining life from the things around it. But you do feel like, how to describe it? The fuel for life is there in that body. But you know that it's not bringing her back to life. You know it's more of a circle of life kind of thing, that this body has the ability to produce life from it.
Okay, yeah. So like the microbiome flourishing, feeding,
Yes.
like other things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So while in control and forcing the power in and, trying everything, so it's already determined that Akio can't help with this. So I think Akio would try to just test things out, use the moment to try to test things out at the same time.
All right, what are you
And
trying to do?
Wondering what would happen if someone got too much.
Too much?
So, radiating like the life energy maybe.
All right,
around me, but
what are
specifically
you
into
going
people.
to use this life energy on?
Who's the closest person to me right now?
Oh shoot. Okay, hold on. Little Chiho. No, Gustav is the closest. He's like standing right beside you.
Okay. Then try to just, with nowhere to go within Chiho, then just force it into the nearest person. So just force life energy at him. I don't know if it would do anything, if it would empower him, or if this would be like a D&D 5e thing, where it's just like, people explode, essentially, if they have too much life energy.
Give me a second. I hadn't thought of this.
Sure thing. There's no rules for it, so this is directly related to just your in-game
Yeah,
idea of
this
how it works.
this is like healing level 11 or something, where it would only say plot device or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with this. You start directing the energy into him. Oh, wait, it's Gustav, so there's also that complication.
Is he dead? Is he a corpse? He's a zombie this whole time?
High,
yeah, he's the one who can
high or low?
disable abilities. Yeah.
High or low?
I'm gonna call low.
Okay. You direct this energy into him, and you kind of glare at him from the corner of your eye, and you see. Okay, what you see is you see the bags behind his eyes start to fade away, and it starts looking more and more like the years are falling off of him. You see the hair on his arms start growing out really, really long, so that it's like he's starting to look more and more like an ape man. His hair is growing longer and longer. You see his hair flowing down to his hips, and you see his goatee just like start looking like an old sage's all the way down to like his stomach or something. Same thing with his eyebrows. And you see under his clothes, like they start poofing up a little bit. And Gustav turns towards you and with his eyes wide, and he says, Akio, do you have control?
I would probably just scream at this point.
Just scream.
Like in a I don't know if it would actually happen like this, but in my mind, I was just imagining like how an angel might scream,
Oh,
and
okay.
if there's like visible, like. So I think we've already determined that when I heal, there's sometimes visible light when I do it.
Yes. There's a light green glow.
If he would look at me, I would just turn to look at him and then scream with like just my eyes and mouth, just like my face radiating light towards him.
Oh, like, yeah, just like streaming through your eye sockets and stuff, like that one thing. Was it from Diablo where the guy just kind of explodes from light or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So, yeah, you feel this radiation just, it almost literally explodes out of you, just a wave of just life as all of the plants that you have grown around you just suddenly bloom into like pink and blue flowers, just as if suddenly they just budded, and just you can see, you don't see with your normal vision. Everything looks like a stream that it's not like there's people around. There's only life, and uh, and and the swirling essences of what carries that life. You feel a subtle sensation that you are connected directly to this stream of living consciousness. It's kind of, imagine what the life stream from Final Fantasy VII would look like. Just like green, blue flowingness. Also, surrounding you, you see things that aren't there. Kind of like, do you remember Mushishi?
Oh, dude, yes.
It kind of looks like that. And these
what
little...
happens if I send life energy at them? Sorry,
at
go ahead
those?
if you were going to say something.
Well, when you do that, you see they stop and they look at you for a second, or you think they look at you. They definitely notice you. And whenever you start pushing life into them, you see them slowly start to grow bigger, and then it's like makes this weird screeching sound, kind of like, imagine Lugia when he screams, and then it just pops.
It just pops?
Yes.
Okay.
And you see green light just irradiating all over you.
Nice. Can I tap into some of this energy just to empower myself to heal those 10 hit points?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Not only can you do that, you feel like you could make yourself better.
I will try that as well.
Alright, what do you want to do? Go ahead and take another 5 hit points, though.
As I try to improve my body in some way?
Yes.
So I healed 10 and then went down 5 again?
Good point. Just stay at full health.
Okay. No, I was just asking for clarification. I didn't know if you wanted me to go down to 20 or go down to 10.
No, just stay full health, because you would just heal it all immediately anyway.
Okay. I might try to empower my mind even further.
Okay. You feel...
See if I could create maybe a permanent connection to this stream, so that I could tap into it later without the orb.
Give me a Give me a soul roll.
A soul roll.
You definitely feel a connection, but this is also new. You don't know anything about it. Who knows if it'll last? Who knows if it'll go away the second you let go of this orb? But you do know the orb is there's the distinct presence of you in this live stream, and the orb is beside you.
Okay.
And
Could. I don't know what else to try. The last thing to try, I guess, would be the orb. If it is it, so I feel it beside me in this plane as well.
yes,
Could I try to absorb its like metaphysical presence here?
you can try. Give me a soul roll.
Okay. After this, I'm not sure what else would go on.
Give in. You try to pull something from the orb. You try to take it, but it doesn't feel like it itself has power. It just feels like you push the power in and it bounces off something back into you, only maybe not stronger, but in a more refined way. It feels different than it did before, but also the same. It's like your understanding of it has changed.
Okay. Okay. Fucking Megumi and Shadow whispering at me to give in.
Give
I already have. Alright, so my understanding of the orb has changed now?
a little bit. You feel more connected to it than you did, for sure.
Okay.
Are you
I wonder
done?
what happens if I think the last thing I'll try to do, and at this point I think Gustav would probably interrupt me, would be to direct the live stream at Gustav.
Okay.
Just in an unrestrained, unrefined way.
All right.
So
You
not control it, but direct it.
you see you start directing this life energy towards him. You didn't really notice it before. Well, you noticed it. You have a understanding of everything living around you, but Gustav wasn't Gustav anymore. He was just that pulsing life that is closest to you, and you feel him like reaching to your shoulder, and you like blink, and you see the world as you remember it for a second, and you see all the little hairs on his body actually start sprouting tiny little flowers, and then all of a sudden the connection is gone, and let's see. Roll me a. Let's see. You 5 times. Roll me 4d5.
Okay. 4d5.
Oh dang, that's pretty solid. All right, you feel your connection with the orb severed suddenly, and you just feel like you left. The connection was still there, but it was just cut, like someone just took scissors and cut it. And you still feel some of your power in that orb, or that's what it felt like you were still connected and you were just ripped away, and you feel a sudden backlash from that, and you feel that same vice grip on your brain as you take that 10 points of damage,
Okay.
and your hand kind of get repelled away from the orb, like as if your hand is a magnet and the orb is a magnet.
Of opposing.
Yes, basically like they're repulsed.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to actually have you describe some of what took place whenever we get in there, what they saw.
Okay.
So when you are
then,
ready
yeah,
to
I
go
guess
back.
we can go back over.
All right, from your perspective, this is what you guys see.
All right.
All right. So after after Akio lays their hand upon the orb solemnly, all of a sudden,
Before you go into that, though, remember you did struggle a little, so at the beginning.
right. So after doing that, light kind of starts pouring from Akiho, but it's in an uncontrolled state. It's not really
It's the same
focused.
light you see whenever Akiho heals people, that like pale green light.
Yeah, that light that I use that normally heals, but it's just kind of radiating around me as it kind of just goes out away from me without a focus. Akio just kind of sits there in concentration, grimacing in pain. The life energy being too much to control as plants start growing around me, and in the through the cracks in the ground.
Oh, that's cool.
As my healing energy just gets percolated out to everything. So all the plants, the grass and the trees and the shrubs that were here before the industrialization, put down cement and bricks, all of that, the remnants of roots start regrowing and piercing through it all. So it starts regrowing. After a while, Akio's look of concentration kind of mellows out, or look of pain and grimacing mellows out just a little bit, and you see more of the life energy stop getting irradiated everywhere and focusing down into Chiho. And it just bathed Chiho in just great, iridescent light. She almost starts glowing. But unfortunately, nothing happens. She doesn't even twitch. A few moments of this pass, a few heartbeats, and then all of a sudden the light starts exploding out again, away from everything, away from Chiho, just all around, unfocused. Once more, as another look of pain comes back to Akio's face. The plants start blooming again, and then
What the fuck?
did you want to describe what happened after that, Tyler?
Yes, sorry, where were you?
Just at the point right after I lost control again, after it didn't work on healing Chiho.
Right. Sure. So yeah, all of these plants start growing around you. It kind of actually looks like a forest is starting to slowly grow around all of you. There actually is a whole tree that just sprouts, breaking through the cobblestones in front of the hotel. That just kind of sprouts a full tree just right in front of you, like a good 15-foot tall tree. With vines and stuff going up the hotel and everything. Akiho pulses this green energy that all of you can see onto Chiho, and you see Chiho's body glow for a second, but then it just fades away. You see little vines starting to crawl all around Chiho's body, as this green light just floods and floods all around Chiho. And then still nothing. And then you see Akiho kind of twitch, and then you look at Gustav, and you can see Gustav, and then suddenly it starts looking like he's aging in reverse, but also but it stops at a certain point, so that instead of Gustav looking like he's in his late 30s, early 40s, it looks like he's in his early 20s. But once it gets to that point, you just suddenly start seeing his hair start to grow out longer, the hair on his chin, the hair on his back. He starts looking, the hair on his arms start growing and making him look more and more like a primate or something. And Gustav looks at Akiho and reaches out and puts a hand on her shoulder, and you hear him scream, "Are you in control?" As the energy is kind of like making this growing hair flow as if there's an unnatural wind. David, do you want to take on the next part, or do you want me to describe it?
I'll go for it.
Okay.
So after he does that,
this is the part with the eyes and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought. After he grabs Akiho's shoulder and asks that question, Akiho turns to look at him and just starts screaming, kind of like bloody murder almost.
Like it doesn't even sound like a person screaming it. It sounds like, an angel from Judgment Day or something, just like called down from the heavens.
Like an ethereal, echoey scream. As
something
Akiho's
you'd see from Diablo.
Yeah, as Akiho's face just lights up in the greenish color, and actually starts pouring out of Akiho's eyes and mouth to the point that you can't even see Akiho's eyes or mouth. It's just points of light radiating like spotlights out from their face directly at Gustav, who had just touched Akiho. And just this... Does the light on this end kind of do the wavy bit as well, or is it just like straight?
What do you mean?
Because of the way it looked on the inside.
Oh, to all of you, what it looks like is there's just bright light irradiating out of her face, mouth, her mouth, her eyes, and even her ears. And it almost looks like it's her skin is glowing, and you see kind of like shimmery sparkles in the grass that's growing around you.
Because I wasn't sure how much of that other like inside bit they would have seen, so I wasn't.
Yeah. One thing all of you do notice, though, is the air smells really, really fresh and really, really, really good, and you all feel, I don't know how to say it other than you just feel really, really alive right now. Like you can feel things more.
Rejuvenated.
And then, so from their point of view at this point, that would kind of be somewhat towards the end of it, I think, right?
Yes.
And then what happened at the very end? I
Yes,
guess Gustav does his thing.
Yeah, so what happens after that is Akiho, with her irradiating and screaming, looks at Gustav with her radiating blue eyes, and as soon as the green light touches him, you see all of the hair that's growing on him. He basically looks like a a monkey man right now. Uh,
Yeah.
all of the hairs on him, the tips suddenly bloom into small little flowers, and and he's just covered in flowers, and all of it, and then you see Akiho. You hear Akiho scream again, and the light go away, but it's not a scream of like it was. It's just Akiho screaming, and then her hand just bounces off the orb, and she falls backwards a little bit.
Bounces like all of a sudden the magnets went from attracting each other, like a magnet to metal, to all of a sudden just being a repulsive force.
Yeah, throw it back. Shit.
And then after that, I don't know if I'm even conscious.
You are actually not.
I'm gonna look around. Things, I guess if they were growing, they stopped growing. Whatever effect may have stopped with his unconsciousness. Or
Yes, they everything suddenly stopped growing. It's still there. It basically looks almost as if it's a post-apocalyptic scene in a movie where just like plants and stuff are growing all over buildings and cropping up through the walkway and everything.
Chiho state. What is it? Still lifeless.
Ow, ow, ow. Hold on, ow.
Cat.
Yeah, I
No.
assume cat clawing.
No, I
Don't
contorted my arm in a strange way, and I think it
stop doing that.
pulled a muscle that isn't supposed to be pulled, and it hurts. But anyway, continue on.
Her state. Okay, so I'll slowly walk on the vegetation and look at Akiho and Chiho just slowly.
Oh, the closer and closer you get to the area that where Chiho is, there's more and more flowers until, like, at the base where Akiho was standing, it's just a huge cluster of flowers that feel like a carpet under your feet.
That's fucking crazy.
When you walk up to Chiho, all you see is little vines all over her body, with little bitty flowers. And her body looks pristine. Her skin is practically glowing. You can give me a roll to see if she's alive.
I'm going to lean down and check that.
All right. Do you have anything medicine
I'm
related?
gonna take a look. I do not.
Then just give me a mind.
Yep. I'm just gonna go for like a pulse that I thought, like I think there's like a pulse under the by the wrist or something. I don't have a medical knowledge.
You know enough to find where a pulse would be, or something, but you're not really sure if you you remember seeing people do it, and you've done it before, but
It's on TV, yeah.
but you touch where you think a pulse would be, and the first thing you notice is her skin is cold, and you don't feel a pulse.
Shit. She looks pristine, but it's cold, and but she looks pristine. So he regenerated her flesh.
Like her skin still has a pinkish hue. I mean, it's slowly starting. It looks strange. It looks like she's asleep.
So instead of just kneeling with one hand, I'm going to go on both knees, and at this point, I can't help it anymore, and I just start crying. And I just say, "Wake up, you stupid girl." So I'm just crying. That's what I do.
Gustav walks over, looking like a strange plant monster at this point.
It's a
Covered in
shambling mound.
yeah, shambling. He looks like a shambling mound right now, and puts his he kind of looks like Cousin It as well, but with flowers all over him. He puts his hand on your shoulder, and you think he shakes his head to like comfort you, but with all the hair, it's kind of hard to tell. And he just says in a slightly less gruff voice, he says, "We we tried."
Wake up, you stupid girl, I say, like pounding a fist, like hitting the floor next to her. Or the plant floor. Quit being stupid and wake up.
Gustav kind of tries to lift you up a little, and he says, "There's nothing we can do, Megumi."
I will actually just resist, for dramatic effect.
Give me
body.
a body roll.
Wailing, crying.
Oh dang! We will say tie goes to defender, and he tries to lift you up and kind of pull you away, but you do that thing where you like shrug your shoulder and you just like dive to the ground beside Chiho.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm a wailing, inconsolable mess.
Karu, do you do anything?
Go to her. No, I'm just kidding.
I will walk up to the. Is Akio conscious or is he not?
Akiho is not currently conscious.
How
Or
does How does she look? Sorry.
like she's asleep.
Okay, so like the irradiating light that was coming out of her.
Yeah, it's gone. It's just Akio.
But she's not like injured from it.
She looks great.
Okay.
Smells good too, actually. Strangely enough, she smells really good.
Like fresh dew in a completely untouched forest.
Exactly, yes.
Alright. I'm gonna go up to Megumi and be like, just put my hand on her shoulders, like, you, alright?
Leave me alone. We did everything we could to save her. It wasn't enough. Even with the stupid orb, it wasn't enough. What do we have these powers for if we can't even use it to save people we care about? I'm not, like, fighting you or anything, but that's what I say, like, in between sobs.
We'll just need to be more careful.
I can't give answers to that because I'm just like I'm like crying and snot and everything.
Are you, Kara looks over at Crunch. Gonna be okay? Because he has all that hair and weird flowers on him.
He looks at himself and he just says, "Don't worry about me, kid." He doesn't look much older than you now, though.
Oh, he could live another 10 years. I don't know.
Or actually, you can't tell how old he looks with all that hair.
I guess that's fair. Did all we could.
Safra kind of steps forward and she says, "Well, I know it's not what all of you want to hear, but it doesn't look like there's anything else we can do. I think all of you should head to your rooms and get some rest."
I guess that's for the best.
It's around this point that Akiho, you start coming to with a really bad migraine.
I just slowly get up, holding a hand to my head as I look around at everyone. And then take in their states. But I don't really say anything as I look over to Chiho, where I know it didn't really work.
I will try to kind of help you up a bit.
I accept and thank you.
You okay?
My head hurts. And I wasn't able to save her. I tapped into I don't even know what to call it, never-ending stream of life. There was so much life there, but I couldn't give any of it to her. And then I just stopped talking.
You did everything you could.
I just kind of give like a non-committal, like, I don't know, like nod. Like half nod, half shrug.
Isabella walks over and kneels behind you, Megumi, and just kind of whispers, "But you were gonna teach me how to swim."
Who was it that said that?
Isabella.
Oh, damn it. The child, the innocent child. I'm gonna do the... I'm now, like, easily able to be picked up, but I'm like I wanna do the wailing where you're, like, looking up.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna kind of just, like, collapse, like, exhausted. Because that little bit was just too much.
Isabella just stares at Chiho, just with her classic blank stare. But, Megumi, give me a soul roll, since you're right beside her.
Okay. This one. All right. Nothing. Damn.
6. Let's see. What did you actually roll? 2 3s? Wait.
My soul.
3
Straight
plus
soul.
3? Oh, wait. What? Why does it not show what you rolled, though?
So
It never does.
Oh, okay,
three
that's
is
weird.
what
The
was
3
rolled.
is what he rolled, so you
Yeah.
rolled a 2 and a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 3. Alright. Well, since you're right beside her, and you didn't get a double 1, I will give you this. You see just out of the corner of her eye, just a little tear stream down her face. And that's the only one.
I'm gonna stop being kind of collapsed, like on my knees, and just I'm gonna hug her.
She just stands there
Try
showing...
strong.
She just stands there in her classic emotionless state.
Yeah.
Just not just staring at
Like
Chiho.
hugging a doll.
Yes.
Emotionless doll.
This has been really emotional, so I think Akio would join in on the hug. Just walking closer to Chiho, seeing
I'm actually accepting that.
hug Isabella. Akio
I'm
would
actually accepting that you did your best.
Max actually walks over and tries to lean in on the hug too.
That's fine. He can come in. I'm broken. It's hard to tsundere right now.
And then Safra comes over there, and then Sora starts walking over there as well.
Yeah, he's fine. If he tries to like get close to me while there's a bunch of other options, though, I'm going to elbow him.
No, he just walks over
Okay.
there.
Good.
And
He's
then
being normal.
and then finally Judas does. Karu, Vera walks up beside you and whispers in your ear, whenever you're free. And when you turn and look, you see Lucilia is already starting to walk towards the building, and Vera turns and starts walking to catch up with Lucilia, while the rest are, I guess, hugging and subtly sobbing. As the realization of the hope that there was a chance to save this happy-go-lucky girl is just gone. Alright, everyone, what are you doing? I know 2 of you are hugging. Karu, what are you going to do?
Karu probably stay there for a moment, just kind of watching them all hug each other. Kind of not sure what he should do. He doesn't really. I wouldn't say he doesn't understand, but it's just.
Samurai don't hug.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
Yeah.
he's.
has to be strong.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that he's. That's just never been a thing for him, I guess. So it's not sure if he should or not, I guess is the thing.
Not used to emotions and emotional people.
Not used to any people, really.
Alright, well, you stand there and you watch them, and after a few minutes, everyone kind of just starts breaking up. And you see Sora go over to Chiho and kind of just like touch her arm and say, "I'm sorry I couldn't save you somehow." And he just, you see him like bite his lip and ball his hands. And as he turns around and he says, "But I won't let it happen again," as he just starts walking towards the hotel with conviction.
Wait, Sora, what are you going to go do?
He
I
just
say, looking away from the hug.
He just says, "I don't know, something. I'll come up with something." He stops and looks over his shoulder and gives you you can tell, a very forced grin, and he says, "I always do." And he just starts.
I kind of make a motion to go, follow him, but I'm like paralyzed. Like, I don't want to leave this hug. Yeah, kind of paralyzed, but I'm not gonna admit that. But that's what happened.
And everyone else starts. Max just lets go, and he kind of just says, "So, what are we gonna do about Laurence? He's still out there."
Max is saying that to this group?
Yes.
The teachers should go find him. It is their job, right?
Gustav, in his furry self, outside of the hug, just says, "Megumin's right. Let us deal with that." And Safra just says, she just smiles and she says, "Yeah, you don't need to worry about that, not tonight."
And it's pretty late by this point, right?
Yeah.
And we're like fucking tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
like
think Akio...
stung and beat up and everything.
It's
Yeah,
around
Akio's
10
gonna-
or 11, and you guys have been literally walking all day through the woods and then all day back through the woods carrying a body.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Akio's gonna break away and just... I'm gonna go.
Max turns into a cat and starts walking behind you.
Just, so after breaking away from the hug and saying that, gonna start walking back towards the hotel as well. Stop and stare longingly at Chiho one last time. And then,
You
continue on the way.
You feel on your foot just a little paw, and you hear, you see the Max looking up at you, giving you a consoling meow.
Akio just nods and walks away.
All right.
Or walks onto the hotel. Yeah.
What
does everyone else do?
I just need to go to bed.
All right.
I'm gonna take the steamy anime shower
Okay.
and then go to bed.
Yeah, that's Akio's plan as well.
All
You
right.
know, so like the sad one where you're showering and letting the hair run over you, but you have both hands against the wall and your head is down. That trophy shower, you know it.
Ma-
God, there's a scene with Vegeta like that. I need to find it.
Yeah, I know that one. Are you doing the
shit.
thing where your hand is bald and you just like hit the wall and just like slide to your knees and just ball inside of the shower?
I could do that. If you find a Vegeta thing, that's fucking perfect. That's where I must have gotten it from.
Karu, what are you doing? You are expected.
I am. After, I guess. What's the proper way to do it? Kind of. Yeah, I guess that would be right. What's it called again? One where you're on hands and knees with head down.
Seiza?
Say so. Basically, just doing that as far as show of respect to Chiho. And kind of
All right.
and then after that, I'll stand up and then I'll head to see Lucilia.
Okay. You go up to the 20th floor. Let's go ahead, since all of you are in the building. Let's get rid of the cicadas in the background. You see a crow pecking at the window. It looks like it looks like it has intelligence in its eyes as it just flies away.
Not just intelligence, but malice.
Yes. no, that's not actually a thing though. All right, Karu, well
Thank you.
you
I
knock
couldn't find
on
the
the
full scene, but there's that at least.
No,
Oh yeah.
try all the tropes, dude. All of them.
Karu, you knock on the door, and Vera opens it, and she just steps to the side to let you in without saying anything.
I nod to her. Thank you. And walk in.
Lucilia is sitting on the chair with a cup of tea. There's a little teapot on her little cat desk with 3 teacups out. 2 are full. 1 is currently being filled with tea as you speak. And Lucilia says, "I'm glad you came."
Well, you did ask to see me.
Yes, and there is something very urgent we need to speak of.
And that is?
Go to game 2.
Okay.
She says that in character.
All right, this will probably be a minute. I'll be back, guys.
Alright, oh shit.
If you guys need to leave, we can call the session for you guys here.
I'm okay. I might go get a bowl of cereal in a bit. Because, of course.
All
Dude,
right.
Rice Krispies, man. Fuck.
All right. Okay. Just let me know if you guys need to head off, and
Alright,
while
got it.
I'm in the chat. All right. Okay. So Lucilia is sitting in the chair in her room
Okay.
with a very serious look on her face, and she says, "All right, Karu." She looks towards the door. And she leans back as Vera gets up and locks the door. Lucilia nods as Vera comes and sits back down. And she says, "I've narrowed my list of suspects down to 2. She looks at you and she says, I will tell you who I suspect, but I hope you will listen to my reasons why.
Of course.
She says, to start off, as you may or may not have noticed, I have been having Vera discreetly look upon those I found suspicious.
Okay.
And Vera uncovered some very interesting information. So I will share with you now my suspects. And those are, I believe, to be either Chiho or Megumin.
Okay. And what is it that makes you think that? Karu will be kind of surprised. Just like, so. But he'll listen to what she has to say about it.
She says, well, the first thing that I started noticing was strange was how both of them seemed to form a close attachment to those that have how should I say, exhibited odd behavior or suicidal tendencies. And at the center of all of those, I have noticed that Chiho and Megumi were both always present. And so I had Vera follow both of them around. And the strangest thing is that, at least on the surface, they haven't appeared to do anything outwardly strange. However, Lucilia leans back and she says, the incident with the sleepover revealed many, many things to me. I sent in one of Vera's alternates in her place for this social function, and I had intended it for it to be a sort of how would you say, experiment where I could get Megumi and Chiho away from the greater majority of the group to observe them in a less broad sense. She gives a small scowl, and she says, of course, that did not exactly go according to plan, as outside variables did show themselves. Nevertheless, she says, she pauses though, these individuals were not around the entire time, and I have ruled out their direct involvement. Now is where I have told you everything that you might have already known, but now I am going to reveal to you things that only me and Vera know of. During this incident at the sleepover, while I was having Vera watch over everyone, Vera, the real one, she indicates beside her, who just sits down and nods. Something strange occurred. Would you mind elaborating, Vera? And Vera just nods and she says, yes, Miss Lucilia. As you know, Karu, you know of my power and what it can do.
I am aware.
Well, one of my clones, the one I was that was operating at the time of the sleepover, sometime in the middle of the night, started behaving erratically, you could say. You might even say homicidal. She started rambling things to me about threats unseen, about twisting. It seemed to me as if something was twisting her, and I could no longer. She began to convince herself that she was indeed the original, and that she had to be the arbiter of Miss Lucilia's protection. And so she seemed to have convinced herself that she needed to eliminate that threat. I'm not entirely sure what she deemed the threat to be, because at that point I cut that connection. This strange and erratic behavior has never occurred before, Karu, and it was very disconcerting. Lucilia starts talking again. Yes, and that to me, at least partially, proves that those within close proximity to either Megumi or Akiho, because I made it very clear to Vera that those were the only two with whom she would be in close proximity with. It appears that that from this test, this strange behavior does seem to emanate between one of those two. I would also have included Isabella, of course. However, I did indeed watch her, and at least part of the time, whenever strange occurrences began to occur, she was not present all of the time, and therefore I believe I can rule her out. And now, everything I have told you is circumstantial, but now I would like to reveal to you the connecting factors between everyone's memories that I believe does in fact point to mind control.
Okay.
And that as much as whoever is behind what is going on wishes us to believe Laurence is not the culprit. Don't get me wrong. He did kill Chiho, but not by his own hand, or at least his own volition. First, I will start with Max. Since I cannot start with Leon because, sadly, I could not probe his mind beforehand. However, whenever Max started, when he was acting erratically, I probed his mind, played through the memory of the scene of him going into Vera's room, what possible reason he could have had. But all I found was a blank space, as if that portion of his mind if that memory just didn't exist. Now, I move on to Vera's case, or her clone. Vera also seemed to lose control of her clone. She could still communicate with whatever link she has with her clones, but it did not heed her and started acting with its own volition. I believe the culprit was not aware of this whenever they did whatever they did to Vera, and so was just as surprised as we were. And then comes Laurence. I was able to probe Laurence's mind right after the incident, and this time, though I must say quite cleverly, there too seemed to be a gap. Now, I will tell you this. What he remembered was exactly as he said. He was painting, and he blinked, and Chiho fell. However, it is my suspicion that this was not merely a blink, and that something transpired within the matter of a few seconds where he lost control of himself. I will say, though, that the case with Laurence is a little bit harder to tie to Megumi or Akiho, as Laurence seemed to spend equal time with everyone. But nonetheless, the ties to Megumi and Chiho were still there. Sadly, I could not probe the extent of his memory, but I also have the suspicion that any other strange behavior he may have been emitting has been because of this control of whoever has on him. And finally, Karu, to shore up all of this, I would like to give you another piece of information we think ties into all of this. It would seem that despite my best efforts, Akiho is completely immune to my mind reading abilities. But I must also throw in that the person who did have the most contact with Laurence most recently was Megumin. So, Karu, I stand at a crossroads. Both seem equally suspicious in my eyes, but I have no real proof. But I do have a worry that I might be the next target. I and Vera believe that we have been being targeted for quite some time. And the possession of Vera was just further proof towards this. We have been taking all the precautions we can, of course, and with our luck thus far, we have been relatively successful. But I do not know how much longer I can continue to be lucky. And she looks over at Vera and she says, I don't know how much longer we will be able to stay lucky. Then she just kind of leans back and takes a sip of her tea and go ahead and give me a soul roll.
Okay.
You see for the first time on Lucilia's face real concern for Vera, concern for herself, and just, bewilderment of her next action. Vera shifts a little and she says, we both have come to the agreement that you are at least the most trustworthy person here. And we cannot say for sure that no one is working together. Then Lucilia says, indeed, nor do we know the motivations behind whoever's actions these are, nor even how they go about these actions, or how it works. And it's that not knowing that scares us. You see Vera casually put her hand on Lucilia's leg to kind of comfort her, and Lucilia kind of looks up and flashes Vera a quick smile.
Well, we need to do what we can to find out what's causing all this. Honestly, I don't know enough about Chiho or Megumi either. Even spending the amount of time I've been on.
They both nod, and Lucilia puts her hand on her chin, and she says, still, you are closer to them than we are. perhaps we can use that closeness. Have you, as discreetly as possible, learn as much as you can about them. But do your best to keep your distance. We don't know how this power works.
True.
Or even what the power does. One last thing I would like to note, though, is that Megumi does, like me to a lesser extent, seem to be able to touch the mind of others.
So she made it seem like, yes. That's what it sounded like.
Well, Karu, Vera and Lucilia both look at each other and say, we both have things up our sleeves that we can call upon if things become dire. However, now more than ever, I need to know that you are with us and that you will help us solve this mystery.
Of course. This is a very big issue that needs to be found out about and resolved quickly.
And again, I don't think you can trust anyone. Definitely not Max. Definitely not Laurence. They've already been shown to have been exposed.
Yeah. That's at least true.
Well, we've all had a long night. I will let you get some rest, Karu.
Very well. You should both get some rest too.
Vera nods, and Lucilia says, as you're starting to head out, oh, and Karu, know that we will do whatever we deem necessary to protect ourselves and our allies. She just says that coldly as you leave.
I understand. If something were to happen to one of us, I'm sure that we'd defend against the other. That's just how it will be.
Vera actually says with some emotion, glancing at Lucilia, I would see the island burn before anything happens to her.
I wish the best for both of you. But we need to do what we can to resolve this, so I'll bid you a good night.
They both give you say good night. And you catch out of the corner of your eye as you close the door, Lucilia just kind of lean back and sigh, like she's exhausted, and like putting her hand on her head, just like, Give me a quick soul roll.
Okay. Ah,
Uh, you kind of you hear something like you hear Lucilia mutter something, but you just barely pick up the words like home before you shut the door. All right. Well, we can go back to game 1.
Okay.
All
back.
right. Making babies.
Huh?
What?
What?
Oh, so that's what the soul checks were for. How virile you were.
Oh gosh.
Yes, it became a game of Fatal.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Ah, itchy.
Well, if all of you wish, we can go on to the next morning, or if you want, we can call the session here. It's up to you guys.
I might
I'm
call it.
probably gonna hood up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're both tired.
All right.
What did she upload? What is that? What?
Well,
What?
in that case, I will stop it here. Yeah.